What's up, guys? Welcome back. So a really nice way to start money today. We had a nice green day today, doing nothing really too crazy. Really, I think the name of the game today was just being absolutely patient. We had a lot of really low float stocks today, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. And I was like, okay, we're going to see some action today. But a lot of our original pre-market gappers like ADMA or SONO absolutely just sold off. And we were seeing that a lot. Some of these stocks spiking up tremendously and then just pulling back. And it was just like a little bit weary. It wasn't until we had CGIX pop up on our scanners when things were looking really good. I missed actually almost all of it pre-market because I was just not looking anymore at pre-market between like 8 and 8:40. Oh well, I waited for my chance after the market opened, and I did miss a few good opportunities, but I wasn't really fully in the groove. So I think a big lesson today is just, be patient and wait for that opportunity. When you see it, then get really aggressive, because that's what I did around, what time was that? I think it was like 10:03 or 10:06 or whatever. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I was waiting for an opportunity till I felt really comfortable, and you'll see that. I was really waiting for me to get comfortable because I wasn't really feeling like totally in the flow. And sometimes if you're not totally in the flow, you want to, dive in a little bit, maybe take smaller position size, and then, kind of build upon that. So that's kind of what I was trying to do today. We had some base hits pre-market, and then I got a nice home run trade on CGIX right near the end before it pulled back. So that was really nice. All right, guys, not too much to talk about today. I do want to really focus on CGIX, especially maybe if it's an afternoon trade. So let's go to the charts now, guys. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy the content. If you're totally new here, remember, we go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. to review the watch list and then trade the market open. Would love to see you there. Join the community. It's a wildly good time. Let's go to the charts now. Wow, guys, I gotta say, I was totally shocked when I looked at my P&L for the day. I was not expecting that we had that good of a day. I thought it was like an okay day, which I guess, okay, maybe it was. We're up about, you can see down here, $316 today. The thing is, I only did 7 trades today. So we only, right here, we only did 7 trades. And one of my biggest winners, I only had $1,900 position size. So kind of, or actually almost $1,800 position size. So kind of the small position size, and nothing really too crazy. So the fact that we're up, 316 today kind of feels like a fairly good day for what I expected. But I think it was because we actually had no real losers today. So I had traded SONN, I traded BWAY, THMO, and CGIX, and I think most of the trades were green. I would have to review. No, we took a few smaller losses, but no significant loss. So let's start with XTNT, and let me close the swing trade. We were talking about that a little bit at the end of the video or end of the live stream. And okay, here we got our gappers. So loading dollar volume. Let's go ahead and refilter this one. And what did I say just now? Sorry about that. XTNT. So this was one of the tickers I traded today that I actually ended up kind of ignoring the rest of the time. Oops. XTNT. I don't know what's going on there. I can't even type in a ticker right now. I am really tired today. Today was like, I had the most serious case of the Mondays ever. Anyway, 12 million float, US medical device company. It was up over 70% pre-market with US launch for spinal procedures. So it sounded really good. And I was like, okay, this thing's popping up really aggressively, or having like an okay pullback. And that's when I went long here. I bought this kind of dip here at around 45. I was thinking that this was going to be a bigger sell-off. I'm not totally sure why, but mainly because, we had a kind of a flush here. So I was thinking maybe we'll see another flush. And yeah, it ended up kind of happening. This was a pretty wicked flush. And before you know it, we have a little bounce here. And since the pullback was so strong, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stick around with this one. I don't really trust it. Typically, I would have expected a quicker pullback and then a continuation back to the upside, right? That's what a pullback is all about. It's a bullish trend. We're above VWAP, and I didn't really like how strong the selling was here, so I ended up ditching this trade. And it was a good thing because XTNT just kept on selling off all day, and now it's down 42% from pre-market highs. I don't really expect much out of XTNT anymore, and I think it's pretty much more or less done. So let's go back here to the next ticker. We were trading SONN. SONN. So 4 tickers we traded today, and only 7 trades. That is not a lot of trading. especially for even for a Monday, it's not a lot. SONN, one of the lead gappers today, 13 million float, US biotech, with very questionable news. Like apparently there was a tweet that Trump owns this, and there was an article with a picture I saw that he owns this stock. I'm not totally sure, but this is a ticker that is revolving around the plasm. That was kind of the big debate starting, I think, on the 19th last week. FDA gave it a hold on this kind of coronavirus treatment, and then this morning they gave an approval for it. So there was several plasma trades that were kind of being talked about today, this morning. And SONN, the way it just constantly sold off so aggressively, I instantly knew that I had to be careful with SONN. So I got a little bit of a small dip trade here when it pulled back to 4.5, which I find a pretty key psychological zone. This was a nice 6% bounce, but I ended up kind of getting out on this candle way too soon. So this could have been an okay trade, but I just kind of chickened out on this one. So I kind of walked away with a small profit, but overall it was more or less a scratch. Trading this one out of the gate, I was not really feeling it. Could have been a possible entry as we were pulling back to 4, but again, you would have had to been quick here, and TOS was very laggy this morning at the open, which is totally fine. TOS always was kind of laggy, 3, 4, 5 minutes at the open. That doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, it's obviously not ideal, but it's not like I'm not complaining about it too much. I'm just kind of used to it. But there was no major crashing of TOS. There was not I can't log into TOS. There was no huge issue with TOS today, and that was a beautiful thing. I was already kind of nervous about that, but it was really nice to start the week with no platform issues besides some lag. I mean, that's totally okay with a platform that's free. Yeah, can't complain. BWAY. Let's go back here to BWAY. This is another ticker that we were looking at, and looks like we made about, again, $30 on this one. Nothing really too crazy. But, 3 million float, Israel research and diagnostic company. So I was like, okay, that's a really nice low float, and it had an FDA clearance on smoking addiction procedure. So I was like, okay, well, there's, a big catalyst. And 3 million float, that's really good. So when this thing started pulling back, I was looking for some dip trades. I originally had a limit order around 9.5. I think I removed it right before we had this pullback, so I missed this one. I kind of missed this one, but I wasn't really looking for this dip. And then I got this little kind of dip here. This was an okay move, but it never really ended up hitting the 9 EMA, which was my goal. It actually ended up doing that on the second pullback, so maybe I should have re-entered this one. These are quick moves on this. So this, the way BWAY was moving was actually really fast. So could have had some opportunities, but out of the gates, the red to green move was so vicious that I'm pretty happy that I just kind of ignored this one. And you guys always know, if a ticker is pulling back over 30% pre-market, oftentimes I don't look at it anymore out of the gate. So this one's pulling back 35%, and that to me is usually when I'm like, okay, well, BWAY, there's more sellers than make sense, so I'm going to stop looking at it. THMO, this was another one that we traded pre-market, but out of the gates it totally lost a lot of the interest or I lost my interest in trading it because it sold off so much. So this one, I actually had a limit order ready to go on this one at around 4.5, 4 million float, US medical device company. Yeah, and again, no catalyst, so I was really kind of sketched out about this one, but I knew 4.5, multi-month support and resistance. It's also a psychological zone, so you can kind of see this 4.5 zone. We had a lot of retests, breakouts, pullbacks. 4.5 is always kind of a key territory. So that's why I had a limit order here, and I got this a little pop to the upside, and I was looking to sell here in the 60s or actually the 70s on a little bit bigger move to the 9 EMA. Didn't get that, and then I closed out here right before the flush. So I think I literally sold and then it flushed down. So that was kind of got lucky on this one the way I got out. But again, small position size, walked away with $30 or so profit. Nothing really too crazy, and this one had a really strong red to green move here, so gotta watch out with these tickers. It really wasn't until CGIX came along, and when I mean came along, I really mean it, because this one took forever to pop up on our scanners. not because our scanners weren't working, just because this was a late bloomer. So all that trading, a lot of that trading happened, around 7 to 8 o'clock, and CGIX popped up around 8 o'clock. I did no pre-market trading on this one till right like 9:18 or so, because around 8 to like 8:40, I was no longer watching pre-market. I was running around the house. I was doing some other things, kind of getting ready for the trading day, trying to wake up. I was so drowsy this morning. So basically, I missed this beautiful move to the upside, which sucks because we had a perfect pullback here. I don't know if I would have seen it in this area. I mean, it was a 70% move already, so most likely I would have seen it. I don't know, sometimes our scanners take like 3-5 minutes for a ticker to pop up. So who knows if I would have saw it. But then we had a flat top breakout here after this cup and handle, and a nice little pullback. And then we had what's really beautiful, a perfect pullback here to the 9 EMA. And then we had a really, really strong, 50+% move. So I'm not really sure if I would have got any of this move. Knowing me, I'm not super crazy about buying into these big green candles, this kind of aggressive breakout trading pre-market. It's not my favorite thing to do, but this was definitely the best ticker to be trading pre-market for sure. I ended up buying a small pullback here. Actually, this was kind of a nice pullback. We dipped right below the $7 zone. I was talking about, if we crack $8, I would like to buy into around $7.75. That's kind of what happened. My first entry was like at 83, which was a bit early. And then I had one more entry around 7 point something, maybe around 6. Let's actually look here. Filled orders. That was on CGIX, my first trade. Yeah, 7.84 and then 7.77. Then I got kind of full size here pre-market, and then I sold into the kind of the move back to the upside. This was a 7 cents a share win, so I made about 21 bucks on this one. Again, nothing really too crazy, but I was like, okay, well, kind of starting the day, at least we have a couple of base hits to have a nice little cushion. So CGIX, I was just thinking, did I miss anything here? And I don't remember if I said this, but 2 million float, US biotech company with merger news with a private company. So 2 million float, guys, that is beautiful. This thing's already lapping up 150+% pre-market. And merger news. So it has a catalyst. It's kind of between $2 and $7. It has that beautiful, very low float, so it has huge spikeability. This thing totally fits the criteria. Markets are overall green. It's a Monday. People are ready to trade. So let's see how this one rolls. We had a quick red to green move here, pulled back about 10%, and then rocketed 28%. I missed this move, which was a little bit unfortunate because these are some of my favorite moves. I was kind of creeped out by this kind of spike here, and then the quick pullback. And it just wasn't the cleanest red to green move, so I didn't trade it. What I should have traded was this pullback here to 7.5, 12% pullback, and then another 25% rip. So kind of upset I didn't trade this one. Another opportunity would have been right here on this quick VWAP pullback to the 9-minute EMA. This was probably the best opportunity. After that, I don't know. I felt like this one was tough to trade. Like I couldn't get a read on it. I just noticed that I was always out of sync with CGIX. I was kind of not really ready for it. I felt like the flushes were always stronger than I was ready for, and then yada yada. It wasn't until we had after this pullback, and then we had a nice breakout, and then I felt like we were forming a bit of a bull flag here, and we had a nice pullback here, but big buyers came in. The sell volume was also selling off, and I was like, okay, this one actually really fits my criterion, so I'm gonna get aggressive. And so I got aggressive here at 9.28, but then we pulled back, and I kind of lost some of my conviction behind this trade, so I closed out right away again for 9.28. Had total break even. Then we pulled back one more time here, and I entered at 9.21 with smaller position size because I didn't have that full conviction anymore, and I always like to manage my risk by reducing my position size. This one was actually just about a near perfect trade. Had a really good entry here at 9.21, and then we ran up here to like 10.33. I sold at 22, so let's see, right around here. So it was like a 10% trade. This was pretty sweet, smaller position size, but I still walked away with about $200 on that one trade. So that was really, really cool. Nowhere else, CGIX, was I really wanting to trade it. This flush was absolutely so strong, 17%, had a nice bounce of 7%. So, there's many like little pop dip opportunities on this one, but I gotta say, like, I still couldn't really get a read on it. Like, some days I'm really in the flow and I'm just like buying the pullbacks, selling into the breakouts, or even buying the breakouts sometimes, although it's not really my favorite strategy. But, I have like, let's say, a better read on it where I just kind of feel the ticker. CGIX, besides this one trade over here, I really at no point was like, okay, this is what I think it's going to happen, and it perfectly happens. It was just like a little bit all over the place. I mean, you could kind of argue that, you know, I thought that this was going to rip out here and this was going to be a pullback, but I wasn't like as sure as I sometimes feel like I usually am. So I was never really looking to trade this too much. So CGIX only did 2 trades on it. I kind of left a lot of money on the table, but you know, we're still ending the day up, you know, $300 today, so I can't really complain. And I was so drowsy today, so again, kind of probably good that I ended today, even where I ended it in the green. So I'm pretty happy. Right now, we're actually holding our highs really, really well. We're down about like 30% or so from pre-market highs, which isn't too bad. We are trending below VWAP, which is nice, but I think as long as we hold over $7, I don't think it's going to be too bad. This might even dip to like 650 or so, but for now, I kind of like that this one's holding its highs. It's doing okay. Long-term chart on it though is really not really what I would want to be seeing. Had a recent reverse split. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they did an offering to raise more funds, and then, you know, this thing goes below $2, and then they do a reverse split again to get the price back up so they don't get a NASDAQ compliance issues. So I don't think I'm going to be looking at CGIX for an overnight trade. I don't think I'm going to be swing trading it or, you know, looking into this being as possible secondary popper. Although we've had, you know, these, you know, multi-day runs on CGIX. So it's not that it's maybe the worst setup, but maybe if it continues holding its highs here and then starts an afternoon rally, I would not be surprised if this broke over $10. So I would keep an eye out for the CGIX for a potential afternoon run. It has a ridiculous amount of dollar volume, over 500 million at $673 million volume. So this is a very thickly traded small cap stock. I mean, the market cap is only 17 million today, and that's after being up 150%. So this is so much volume on such a small company. So that's really impressive. With, you know, wow, just, you know, 2 million float and 2.3 million shares outstanding. So a lot of people are looking at this ticker, and I find that really, really impressive. So I think this one could easily have a late day run. I'm not crazy about tomorrow, but I do think, you know, approaching power hour or so, or especially as we see some support coming in here, if it's going to be at 7 or 650 or 550, maybe there's going to be some sort of big afternoon run on this one. But for now, I'm done with trading it. Volume has tinkered off a little bit as well. So we'll kind of see how we take it from here. For me, I'm done usually by 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, I'm watching pre-market starting at 6:50 a.m. and then by 11, you know, sometimes you just gotta, you know, how long you're going to be staring at the charts. And at one point, I feel like my brain starts deteriorating in terms of like, I'm just tired. And I make worse calls. So I typically don't trade the afternoons. Let me know what you guys think about CGIX. Are you going to be trading it this afternoon? How do you feel about it? What are possible entries and exits on it for you? I know a lot of you guys were absolutely slaying it today in the live stream with CGIX. So big congratulations to everyone out there. Either making profits on CGIX or at least learning something so you can use that in the future. So guys, nice work out there today. And yeah, I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. Don't forget to drop a like. And if you're totally new here, don't forget to subscribe and consider joining our live streams that start at 9:15 a.m. to review the watch list and trade the market open. Like always, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.